Today I want to take a few minutes to show you how to draw this simple pattern here. This is a page from one of my downloadable coloring books. And so this is a nice floral pattern that I included as one of the pages in my coloring book. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It's all these petals, and we kind of find this little center spot and we just kind of grow from there. And you can kind of keep going as long as you want. You can fill the entire page this way, or you could do what I did and start several different of these flower patterns. And so let me just show you how I did it. You can kind of already see how it's done here, but I will walk you through the process so that you can see kind of how I do this. So I've got a little bit of scrap paper here, and what I'm going to be using is this pen right here. So this is one of my favorite pens. This is a Tombow Fudenosuke. So it is a brush pen. And I will make sure to link this in the description if you don't already have one of these or you've never tried one. Because it's a brush pen, it's just so wonderful. It creates the most wonderful lines. And so what I like to do when I get started here is I'm just going to draw a small circle. Just a small one. Just to give myself something nice to start creating my petals on. And as I create these petals, they're pretty simple. I'll just start like so. And I would like to just draw all of the first set of petals. So they are pointed and smooth. And the thing about drawing this kind of flower is I'm going to make these petals in different sizes. So some will be a little smaller. These are all just about the same size right now, but let me just go ahead and put one in here that's bigger. And this is going to help make it look so much more interesting when the petals are all different sizes like that. Let's see, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's add 2 more. Maybe a smaller one right here. And one that's a little bit bigger here. Okay, so there we go. And so now we're going to use the part of the pen that's very, very helpful is this particular pen because it is a brush pen. It makes really nice tapered lines. So we're going to create these little lines where we start with some pressure and then we let off on the pressure so that the end of the line is much thinner. So thick to thin. So we're going to try to do that. So I just kind of flick it outward like that. And I'm going to do this on all my petals. So right now I'm practicing the use of pressure, so I go from a lot of pressure to less pressure. So like that. I'll just take care of all of these petals on the inside. So right here. You'll notice it's getting very dark right there because of all these lines, and that's fine. It's not a problem at all. This is going to make it look much more dimensional, much more interesting. So there we go. These are all the ones on the inside, and now I'm going to come in and do the outer edges. So right here. So the outer end of the petal will get the same treatment as the inside edge. So right here. Like that. And again, just keep practicing this. If you have a different kind of pen, that's fine. You should still be able to achieve something very similar. I know the first few times I did this, it was just a normal ballpoint pen that I did this. So I'm just going to keep going around. And let's do that big one here. So just do these little lines. Notice that I'm curving them so they kind of follow, they fan out to fill the shape properly. So now that we have our first round of petals, let's add some more. So we're going to work inside of these kind of little valleys that are formed. So let's put a big petal here. How about that? That's pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and add the lines to it. So I'm just practicing using high pressure to low pressure. Let's do the top. Practicing doing it in the other direction. Just kind of releasing that pressure. Let's put another petal here. Notice I didn't go all the way out to the point of these two. I'm just going to add another one in there. So you don't have to do exactly one petal in the in-between parts. You can add more. Fill in with as many as you like. That's why I like using this pattern. It's kind of simple. It's probably something that a lot of us have done. But it kind of comes with its own little special part, which is this shading that we're adding on the ends of the petals and on the inside of the petals. It just makes it look really interesting. So here I'm just going to keep going. So what we're really achieving here, we're achieving an interesting look just by repetition. Just the same shape over again. So let's keep adding some more. So let's add one here. Maybe a little one here. So again, I'm trying to vary those sizes. I'm trying to vary the shapes. Maybe one here. That's pretty good. So I've got my next three right there. Notice it works up pretty quickly. You'll notice it's really easy to make those thick lines. It's just perfect. So here I'm just going to keep adding these petals around here. And also when you're doing these kind of lines here, you'll notice that I'm also doing the same thing. So let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I mean. So inside of each petal right here, when I add these lines, I make sure to not make them all the same length. So notice right here, I'm going to make one come out this far. Shorter, longer, shorter, shorter. So the lengths of them also vary. I know that some people have asked in the past. They've asked me, what is it about their lines? Like something about these kind of lines that are contour lines or shading lines, they don't look quite right. Well, if you're making them all the exact same length, they're going to look a little unnatural. So if you really want to make it look totally organic, natural, make sure like this, that they're tapered. Do your best to get them all to be different lengths. Like this, long, short, long, short. Come back in if you need to and add different lines just like that. So make sure you're practicing that kind of thing. So let's add some more so that you can see what I mean. So here's another petal. So let's do the lines. Short, long, short, long, short. So there you see, they're all different lengths. I'm going to continue doing that. Shorter, longer. Some of them can be really tiny. Some of them are going to be super long. Just try to vary it. You'll see that it's actually fine. You can come back in, maybe change it just a little bit if you need to. You can do the ones on the top. So there you have it. And so what we're going to do on this, we're pretty much just going to go as far as we want to. I think because I'm using a fairly small piece of paper here, I will likely just fill the entire page. It's a pretty small paper. I'd say it's about 4 inches by 6 inches. It isn't too much going on here. So it'll be pretty easy to just fill it all up. And of course, I would encourage you to get your watercolors or your color pencils and have some fun kind of adding some color here. That would be pretty nice. So right here, notice it's working up pretty quickly. It doesn't take too long. It's just a nice little exercise in creating a shape or a form that kind of works its way outward this way. Like this. Notice that also whenever I need to, I try to add a little bit of curvature to these lines. So they're not entirely straight. They curve a little. Just a little curved. So let's add some more right here. So I'm flicking my pen, making sure that The line goes from thick to thin. So same thing right here. I'm going to do my lines like that. And then on the top as well. So there it is. That's all that we have to do for this. And then, like I said, you can just come in and do some coloring if you have the time. And again, this is what it would look like once you add lots and lots and lots of petals. I'll show you the one I was just doing right now. They're about the same size. I think these are just a tiny bit larger. So it can also depend on the type of pen you're using. If you're using maybe like a micron, that's much smaller. You can get your flowers and your petals to be much smaller. So there you go. You see here I just added these little embellishments to the ends. So I'm going to see, if I have a little bit of time, I'll probably try to color it. If not, it looks pretty good like this in grayscale and black and white. Maybe just do a little bit of pencil shading. That might be nice. So I hope you give this a try. This is another nice little fun pattern if you're in the mood to just draw flowers. This is something nice that you can draw. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. Thank you for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful day.